Captain's Log. Stardate 2404.3, 80203.2, February 3rd, 2404. The crew has arrived at the Skagar system to transfer 2 of our crew to the Academy training ship we are to meet with here. We are visited by the Pickerleys. In Star Trek, they're called the Rikers. It is a sobering day indeed. My little one is going to join Starfleet.
Very funny.
Yes, but I see you're enjoying this.
She'll do fine. She has smarts.
Thanks, Dad. Yuck. Don't worry, I'm sure I will take care of her. I'm more worried about you. They'll do fine, if they resist temptation.
If they take after me, she'll be a handful.
They do.
They? Oh, the pronoun thing. Very clever. I wish you well. It should be an adventure. It usually is. Take my last mission, for instance.
Now let's not go into that. It might break the future.
Oh yeah, right. I want to know how I made it to Rear Admiral and you didn't, sir. You know, I never figured that out. Guess it was spending decades on the planet raising kids.
Just don't let this become a very special story. Never. What do you think you will study? Probably planetary biomes or science or something. Maybe xeno-gender studies or critical xeno-race theory? But they only teach that in grad school.
Well, I'm sure it'll work out. It'll make Thanksgivings awkward, though. Aunt B'Elanna will hate it.
Famous last words.
Yeah, my brother Tom Paris might just banish us altogether.
Is that why they didn't show up for their own daughter's wedding?
Yep. Didn't want to see her get married to another lady. They are adults.
It's 2404. The right-wingers need to get over it. Bridge to the Admiral. The ship has arrived.
They're early. Well, on our way. I miss Sito.
She's on assignment. First officer on the tell. I'm so proud of her. Captain, the ship is here. Shall we hail them? Channel open.
Captain Wesley Crusher here on the Miri Sue. We are ready to transport. Wesley is rather excited since returning from that secret mission to 2024 to retrieve Rios. Uh-huh.
I don't sense anything unusual. Good luck.
It'll be fine.
I love you. Prepare to transport. Energize. Captain, something's wrong. But I don't sense anything. Trass. Sensors. The ship is changing, sir. It's not the Mary Sue. It's cloaking.
What? Stop them. Activate a tractor beam.
I'm trying, sir, but I can't get a lock on them. I'm going to manual visual sensors.
How did we not notice the ship was a fake?
The ship has disappeared from sensors, but for a moment it changed into a Screesian transport tug.
Red alert. Full sensor sweep.
Gwen, you met them in the Delta Quadrant. Any ideas? The ship can transform. It could be anyone masquerading as Screesians. Or it could be them.
Gwendala. You served on the Protostar and you met them. What did you know about them?
They're fast. They won't attack, though. They tend to swipe what they want and get out. But usually not the crew. We must find them.
Admiral Janeway recommended you, and even her hologram did. I'm sure you can tell us something.
I will do my best. After leaving the Voyager A years ago, and discovering that there were more of us out there, and my late father had been lying all this time about it being destroyed, I haven't been involved in some time. You came back over a year ago, and were even at the wedding, I was told, when you were on the tell. I'm sure you can handle it. Well, I sort of crashed the wedding. But I was there when we went on this weird mission to the Transformers universe. I met one of theirs before, too. He was called Dreadnought. Rock Talk destroyed him. It's not Transformers. The ship just uses a similar shape-shifting tech. It is tech, though. Not like changelings.
I'm Thaddeus Riker. Welcome to Section 31. No, just kidding.
Thaddeus, what's going on? A crew napping, that's what.
Calm yourselves. I'm only here to borrow you. I will return you unharmed.
Calm ourselves. Wesley, you captured us.
Your Wesley Crusher captured no one, except Rios, and the girl from the other timeline. And I'm not that. My real name is Jay Birdman. Sorry for the deception. Uh-huh.
If you mean to date us, I'm not interested. I don't do boys. And as far as you're concerned, me neither.
No, we're not here for that. And I am not your Wesley.
Come again?
My people call me the Wessian.
Are you mad or just possessed by parasitic life forms? It is probably not best to irritate them. I am irritated.
Oh no, we're not infested. Only one of our crew is bonded to the bluegill. Meet Peppermint, our very own tribble and bluegill hybrid. We cured him. He won't assimilate you. That is true, but I'm more like a trill than one of the evil tribbles you met on the homeworld. I have evolved. A very easy process once you mess with some of the neural makeup. Wasn't my doing, though. I am more than a mere bluegill with a tribble for a suit. We are bonded.
What kind of sick scientist would do something like that?
Our ship's doctor is rather unconventional.
That's inhumane. Well, maybe they're happy. I can't tell.
Greetings, Starfleet. Do not worry. I will not attack you.
You're a Medusan in that android body shell.
Yes, I served on the Protostar.
Oh, really? Gwendala also served on that ship.
I know. How is she doing? I haven't seen her in a long time.
She's fine, but I suspect she will not be happy you're experimenting on sentience.
Ah, Starfleet morality. Don't worry, though. We'll return you to the Academy Transport Base after the mission.
Why don't you just ask Locarno for help? Yeah, why are we so special?
Charisma, youthful spirit.
What? That sounded creepy.
Not as creepy as Ryan's Babe. That was a creepy movie. Mike and Rich and I were watching that once. The Sillians were originally children brought to the Trek universe by Cute to annoy Lucky Clerk. As children, they were given Q-like powers and allowed to influence the universe. As they grew older, most of them became disenchanted and left for parts unknown. They still had their powers as adults, some 37 years later, but must be regenerated.
We will not be tied to some weird teen spirit collector. That's messed up.
We aren't going to harm you. We need your help on the planet.
You could just ask the Chimera to come help.
They're adults. It won't work. I'm in between.
You claim to be Thad, but he died years ago.
I was regenerated from the memories and DNA of your brother, Kestra. But I am also Jay Birdman.
And who is this Birdman?
Over a year ago, you met my friends. They were rather silly. They had developed Sillian powers without ever having met the first children, just by association with their web channel.
You can't be serious. Mike Matthews and Rich Everson. They're not here. I have no idea where they are. You can't be serious. No way. It makes no sense.
We know, but that's not why we're here. The planet Miri. We must go back there. You think these kids can help us? I hope so. I mean, we're here, and I was one of them, changed a generation ago, assimilated by the board. We must succeed, or else all is lost. You see, we must find McKinley.
Who's that?
We can't yet tell you.
They're nuts.
Helm control, are we nearly to the planet? The planet Loneliest is a little while away, but we're being tracked. The exhaust ions of our engines are leading a trail. Oh no. The Chimera may be joining us, after all. Not until we get to the planet. We must get to the planet first and carry out the mission. I will increase speed, sir.
These people are Sillians, aren't they? Well, if they are, they've gone nuts.
Don't worry, be happy. It'll be fun.
I have something, sir. An ion trail. Follow that trail, Mr. Rishenko.
I will slay the usurpers.
I have a course. It's a planet nearby in a solar system called Loneliest, the only planet. Commonly known as Miriam's planet. Get us there fast. Engage. Any luck?
The ion trail seems to be heading for the strange planet ahead. Class M, breathable atmosphere. No anomalies this time. It's Miriam, and it's on a record, sir.
We must get there fast. The planet is in the solar system much like Sol, but there are only 7 planets. The second is Earth-like, but not heavily inhabited. It seems pre-warp.
Their ship is within sensor range.
We should just beam over there and catch them from the bridge.
Or just beam the kids out.
Their shields are too modulated for transporters to work, sir.
It's like they figured we'd try that.
That's kind of weird.
No, it's not. We did that a lot 35 years ago on our mission. Just get us there. What we're dealing with is highly irregular, but we're in Sillian space. What do we know about this region of space?
We are near the planet called Miri, but is also called Loneliest. In the recent past, though, it has been an enigma for having a quarantined time-trapped group called Evergreen there. The Flyer.
Time travel accident?
Surely this area can't be a colony of that planet. How would they even get out here?
There was a mission on Deep Space 4 that encountered a planet where it was a time travel paradox called Meridian. The crew was trapped there, and then was rediscovered 30 years later or so. Using science, we found a way off the planet. But 30 years ago and 30 later thing was just time travel, and they were able to go back and prevent the anomaly from ever happening.
But in this case, they rescued everyone from the Flyer ship from the planet. It doesn't make sense that anyone was left behind.
But Sillian space duplicates things. Are we looking at that here?
I think it's possible. But what do we know about that? The Evergreen colony that settled on Miri. If that's what's going on and we're in their space, they're not under our purview at all. They would not be in Starfleet. They'd also probably be pre-warp and prime directive and all that would apply.
Even though it's a colony, I think getting our people back stumps that. We're going there. Well, likely to be. How soon till we arrive?
Surely they know we're chasing them.
We need to figure this out. We need to proceed with caution. The Evergreen and State people, before it was Miriam, were strange and unpredictable. Will and I met them back in the day. They were a secondary group from the Pine Hill kids. They were college students.
College students? What madness is this? So they were like an academy or something. Apparently, when Q created the universe for the children of Pine Hill to annoy Picard, we call him Lucky Clerk, they grew up a little bit and they went on to college. Evergreen College. And then San Jose State. 2 or 3 of them had gone on to college and encountered other people like them, and dragged them into it as well.
However, the other group was not nearly as into it as the Pine Hill Children originals were.
They became bitter and disillusioned, and when we found the system, the other timeline, they had already fractured into warring groups on the planet.
We'll be there shortly, but we don't want to chase off the other ship when we get there.
Most likely they know we're coming.
But why would they take Kester and Tam? I mean, they're adults already. Why would they need them?
Maybe they just grabbed some Starfleet people that were young and assumed that it'd work. No one ever accused the Sillians of making sense.
All right then, let's go to work.
Where is she? And where is our male contact who will take us to her? Where is Khaki? He's late. McKinley will be here, but only after Khaki. Not quite what I expected. Were you expecting a welcome party? I was kind of expecting a little fanfare.
Their contact seems to be late. Yeah.
There he is. I think he found some of the happy sauce again. No, I think he's just hyper. Starfleet people, this is Khaki. He is in need of our services.
I'm not gonna do anything creepy. Forget it. This is already creepy. Well, there are too many men around here. It's creepy already.
I am called Khaki. I've been here a very long time. You see, the Sillians left us here after they returned to their flyer ship. They failed to check up on us.
I am Tamara Locarno, and I don't know anything about that. I'm Kestra Pickerly, or Riker. We're not yet in Starfleet. I was raised on a planet that was hidden from it. I really wouldn't know.
You two don't seem to know about us. Oh, we weren't able to find any more people your age, sir. That's unfortunate. They were followed, though. Yeah, their ship is approaching and it'll be here shortly. Then perhaps your foolish plan is not a complete waste. You thought the Sillian spirit would be within them. Oh, it is, but I doubt they would submit to a scan.
Sillian spirit, what are you talking about? We don't have that. Yes, besides, I doubt you get anything from a scan of me.
Passive scans indicate that she's in fact an android. So Kestra Pickerly is an android. Why did you say so?
Crass, any news? I'm receiving a transmission from their ship, Captain. Really? On screen.
A Medusan, Captain.
Greetings, Starfleet ship. I am Zero. Please excuse my intrusion. However, 2 of your crewmen have been taken to the planet's surface. I didn't go along with this.
Zero? That is you. Wow, it's been a long time.
Gwendala, it is agreeable to see you again.
It is agreeable to be seen. I won't give away any of the last couple stories of the timeline, just in case. So, do you know where our friends went? Lieutenant Gwendala. I'm the captain. I'm supposed to ask questions to the alien life form. Excuse me, Captain. I overstepped. After all, I haven't seen her in years. I mean, them in years. That's all right. I was thoroughly briefed by Admiral Janeway on your backstory. Of course, Captain. Captain, scans indicate the presence of a bluegill and tribble hybrid on the ship. It appears to be hiding in their cargo bay. We'll deal with that later. Perhaps it doesn't want to be found, just as long as it hasn't infected the rest of their crew.
Oh, no, he hasn't. You may meet him later. His name is Peppermint, for obvious reasons. But let us rescue your crew. I will give you the coordinates to beam down to the planet.
I wonder why they're so eager to help us, Captain.
My contacting you was not under the purview of my commander. He doesn't know. I sensed the presence of Gwen on your ship, and that is why I contacted you. We go way back.
Yes, we've been through death and life together. A Star Trek reference. You're very learned. I try not. There isn't much time. We have to save the crew from the planet. The girls are probably scared stiff down there.
What have we got? Word of this Zero character? I recommend extreme caution.
Well, just knowing what happened on the Lucky Clerk mission, well, yes, I had the hint they would say so. But let's not get carried away. No, we're not going to beam down to the planet and do a Reddit discussion on the nature of another Lucky Clerk show. I mean, come on. Who would want to see that? Yeah, prepare to discuss this and then go down. I just found out like 3 years ago. I didn't know at the time. Thad should also be an android. Technically, Thad died.
It's true. I caught a synth virus. I died at around 17, but the Sillians brought me back. Then I started calling myself Jay Birdman after an internet personality.
Clearly, he is older than my brother by like 20 years, so I'm still not so sure of that.
Well, we never did die. When the Ventura D left the other planet, we just reappeared. We didn't know why. Eventually, another starship passed by, and we hopped to ride on it to this planet. I found them in a rather sad state. I was traveling through the multiverse and using my traveler powers after pulling Rios out of the other timeline. And then I came here. I sought to help them.
You can't hold us here. Our ship will come for us. Yeah, we're supposed to be at Starfleet Academy soon. Besides, whatever you're planning, it doesn't make sense. We don't have what you're looking for. They're right. We don't have what you're looking for.
Well, you may know somebody that does, so you will stay. And also the planet has an infection of its own. We must get in contact with them.
Your plan doesn't really make sense. You can't expect us to just hand over some elixir that cures you from being an adult. That's just insane. Yeah, and how's it going to help you get off this planet?
We want what we used to have some 30 years ago. We can't get it back without Sillians and the Flyer. They left us behind. The board assimilated some of the Sillians. They were merciless. They didn't like humor and whimsy. And then they found this planet as well, and they were confused and disoriented. And as a traveler, I tried to free them.
I don't know how all the Sillian universe came to be, but it appears that you all misjudged the abilities of your Q overlords, weren't they? And yeah, they really didn't have the power that you thought. We could have helped you if you didn't choose to abduct us in the first place.
Huh. Communications indicate the arrival of your crew. They will be here momentarily. They will have to come up with a solution.
Well, they don't have to, but since you captured us, suppose they won't be too eager to help you. But we'll see.
When their landing party gets here, escort them to this location. They will have to shuttle in. Transporters will be non-operational. There's a shield system over the planet. Keeps interlopers from beaming in. Also, they'd be infected.
I think they're coming and we'd be infected anyway, and we'd have no way to warn them.
aliens are over there. They appear to be Sillians.
They don't appear to have any weapons trained on our people. Let's go.
Oh dear, this is expected. Ah, Starfleet people. Yeah, you're trapped here now. How did they find out about us and know we were here? I suspect somebody alerted them. Possibly someone from our ship. Yeah, and I'd lay odds on it that it was the Medusan and not the triple hybrid. I suppose I'll have to punish the Medusan for revealing our plan. Somehow, I doubt you'd be willing to punish the Medusan. Besides, she's an energy being, and she could totally melt your brain.
You there, stop where you are. The space kidnappers seem to be rather incompetent. Why did they come to this planet right out in the open? No ransom or anything? That doesn't pass the sniff test.
Why is it that they often will send down the command staff to a planet? I've never figured out why they do that.
Who are you? No, wait a minute. You do look familiar.
As do you. I'm Alan Khaki of Evergreen Estate. Well, pardon me. Your cadets are unharmed.
Wesley, what are you doing here? I thought you had a ship, but it was on a space mission.
You're confusing me with the other Wesley, the one in your timeline. I'm the Traveler Wesley. Ugh. Sillians. Nice to see you again, Rishenko. Thaddeus Riker, what are you doing here? You're behind this?
You took my daughter and her friend. And mine. And you're not our Thad. He's dead. You imitated him.
Well, sorry about that. We just didn't think you'd help us. Adults never listen.
You were as old as me. How are you not an adult?
Well, I've always been a man-child, like my friends Mike and Rich.
Is this the usual way our missions are going to go? We're all right. We convinced them not to extract our mojo. I know it's a little difficult to explain. Mojo, huh? Well, I'm glad you're all right.
I can give you all a full report, of course. Or surrender and be thrown in the brig. Kind of anything to get off this rock, really. Yeah, we were brought here over 30 years ago during a space mission. By accident.
He's from the Flyer people, Esri. They were a crew of Sillians the Ventura D encountered in the early 2370s. Caught in a time loop. We broke the time loop and sent the ship back to their time.
Then why is he still here? We assume it was the anomaly field that cloned us. The colony regenerated like they were transporter doubles. But the whole crew, we were copies. Knockoffs, essentially. What do you call this planet? The locals call it Miriam. We thought about a few names since Elder Miriam's passing. Valley Girl, Valley Religious, Hidden Valley, stuff like that. Even Elijah. Nothing really worked. Miriam, I guess. The Valley Religious was the name of a sect in the future timeline the crew encountered. We assumed by returning to our present it would have been erased, but it is obscure.
What do you want?
Ah, the rivals of the glorious Zoth of Pine Hill.
Khaki, what do you want?
We wanted something that reflected Evergreen Valley, the college we were from in our timeline. I know it's ridiculous, but we didn't come from Pine Hill like the original Sillians. We were friends of theirs.
Khaki is not lying. At least he believes himself.
We mean you no harm. Famous last words.
We will have to return to the ship and do an analysis of this flyer ship colony. I think most of your crew was originally reassigned to other ships, and has not been seen since.
Not been seen from since. I thought surely we would become great and powerful, parts of the Sillian space, and sent off into some lavish mansions, or a space temple would be set up in my honor.
I know nothing of a temple in honor of Khaki. All right, signal the ship. We'll bring some of these guys back to the ship and see what's going on.
They could still have hostile intent. How many people are on this planet? Where are the rest? They are scattered about the planet, an entire world after all. We've had nearly 30 years to look into other things. Perhaps you should investigate.
Well, this planet kind of gives me the creeps. Just weird they want some kind of teen spirit. I've studied many dialects and made up some of my own, but the Valley Girl dialect used by some of the characters of Sillian, seems to have a few connotations we'd rather not get into. Where did that go? It just up and vanished.
I do not know where Thad went, but I find this planet annoying. There aren't enough people here. Why is that? You beam down to a Sillian planet, there's always like a dozen people standing around.
And then some of them spawn in and out like NPCs in video games, even though technically we're not in a video game. No, but this does go along with some theories from early in the 2000s on Earth about their then primitive World Wide Web gaining sentience in an event, a singularity, which never took place. Why would they think a silly thing like that? The universe is the universe. It's real. It's not in somebody's head somewhere in deep space, like Q or something. How do you know it isn't? If you're going to build a sophisticated Matryoshka computer, you would probably build it so that you couldn't tell you were in a simulation.
I am familiar with the Matryoshka, the nesting doll of the Russian nation-state of the Earth. The nesting doll is a little figurine in which there are other little figurines inside it, smaller and smaller and smaller. Although the one that I had was a child, I smashed it because I could not open it.
I had one also, but I think they meant it as a theoretical construct of the space-time continuum, physics and all that. I'm sure he's quite aware of that. So what are we going to do about the aliens? We can't simply arrest them. At least we can't charge them, because technically we're on their planet now, and never thought about what that would do. We have to deal with that later. For now, they appear to not be hostile anymore, and have given up the crew, including our daughters.
It seems too easy for my taste. Why not just ask us for help then? We were in the spur of the moment, and the opportunity came. Your ship had readings that indicated that was what we were looking for. We were probably wrong, yeah. Well, we are no longer a threat. We will allow you all to go wherever you want to go, and not stop you. If you want to leave right now, you can't. But I suspect you want to find out what's going on down here. And so do I.
They do appear to be the worst space kidnappers ever. But yes, I guess we have to help them. Even though they're kind of villains. Well, anti-heroes, I guess. I say they're more desperate than anything. They seem to think that we can help them. Merely because we're young people, young adults. Makes sense a little bit. The planet is the planet Captain Kirk encountered over a century ago. And what he did, it was Miri's planet. We're going to need more data on that. This is the planet that Kirk encountered a long time ago.
We have records of this, and we can show you. Not sure if we should show them, but I guess we should. Otherwise, they'll stick around and ask too many questions. You lack the subtlety of being a spy, as do I. But yes, let us head in another direction, searching for the records. I'm sure we'll find them eventually, this way.
Since we're out of danger for the most part, we should attempt to make first contact with the planet. They're after all a Federation colony, even if they didn't intend to be. They even look like characters from the Starship Journeyer and from Deep Space 4. Some of them look like characters from the Ventura.
Welcome to the Hidden Valley.
You named the square after a ranch salad dressing.
Or perhaps a children's book or cartoon series. Makes sense.
Sillians broadcast a version of the Hidden Valley show, or a reboot of the show. Several years ago, it was on Netflix, and it was cancelled. It was apparently too much for them, too forward. So, what are we going to do here, Captain? We need to find out who's in charge on the planet. You have to learn about that when you're on an away mission.
Well, it's not me. It's the Grandmaster of the Orion of Keptera. We will find him, though not at Keptera. He's not currently within range. Come, there are others. Wolfie thinks she's in charge, and Nagini only has it in his own mind. But he's different. Come on. Keptera. It's not even where it's supposed to be. The planet like Key-Draconis phases in and out of Sillian space, and there are duplicates of those from Key-Draconis there. I never explained it properly.
This planet is weird. Not any weirder than having met a giant-sized peppermint-striped tribble back on the ship. True. A peppermint-striped tribble. We scanned something like that before, and haven't been over there to have a look at it. Yes, Captain. Apparently one of the offspring of the Queen from the Tribble planet. Except they tamed him somehow. He was their pilot on the ship with extensions. So they tamed the symbiote so that he can control the Tribble. Because the Tribble normally wouldn't have sentience on its own. Perhaps I'll meet him soon.
Perhaps you will.
We came down here without any kind of protection. I hope we aren't being exposed to anything weird, chemicals or drugs or something.
Nothing shows up on sensors. It appears that they are humans on a ramshackle colony. Nothing more. No WMDs, no weapons of any kind, really. Except maybe swords here and there. Nerf guns, but those aren't destructive.
Locarno to Chimera. We're all right. The aliens have let Tam and Kestra go. Please stand down. Send down Gwen in a medical and historical database tricorder. And I suspect she will be immune to their bizarre behavior. She'll be ideal. Yes, Captain. How did you manage it, Captain? They weren't serious. Apparently their leader is another version of Wesley. I know it doesn't make sense. Send her down, yeah. Captain, Gwendola, I need you to tell me what you can find out about this planet and their unusual population. Apparently, they're time-trapped. We cannot return them, though, because there's another version that exists in this universe. What? That's amazing. No, we've never explored your current backstory, but I guess we can't, because it would create a paradox, considering in the other timeline, your show is still going on and you haven't been here yet. Yes, no spoilers. I'm not sure how Wesley and the aliens are going to get Teen Spirit. Yeah, it's the planet Miriam, but these guys renamed it Valley Girls. And even though that's very dumb, I hope they don't stick with it.
We could call the planet Zuni Fetish, but nobody'd get it, and we get a copyright strike on YouTube. Ah, no, I do not.
I have no idea what a Zuni fetish is, and I don't know if I want to. It sounds disturbing.
Oh, no, it's not that kind of fetish. It's a band from the 90s. Yeah, kind of a sort of punk band. And then I forget it.
I'm beginning to suspect these people are nuts. But then again, we were supposed to be on an away mission. I guess it's turned out to be one. Well, it's a misnomer among them that even that we in Starfleet can detect the Sillians. It's more like they give off a certain aura when we contact them. And just so it's not pheromones like on Keptera. That'd be silly. I thought you liked whimsy. If you don't like whimsy, they'll accuse you of being a bored. Then you'll never be able to join Starfleet. No, I do like whimsy, if it's not offensive. You can't just have jokes punching down, making fun of people's orientation, that kind of thing. Can't just make fun of people. Can be making fun of a situation or yourself. Yeah, well, it does kind of irk me that is an imitation of my brother. Why they did it is still a mystery. Oh, come on. Did you really think that the Sillians could have regenerated him? I think we were all fooled at first, like other instances, but it is a little creepy. Joshua Brown was regenerated. It was on the Ventura D when we encountered the Sillian children. And they were children. They were very sad that their friend had died. So on the holodeck we made a program for them to cope, you see. And it didn't go over well. They sort of animated him for real, using their cute powers. Yes, it was a bad idea.
Well, as a traveler, I know all these things about space and time. However, I cannot return them to theirs because they already exist in the time continuum. No, I guess you could speak with some of the elders. They're on the planet, but there's no official person in charge.
Take us to them. We need some answers. Our being here does change the playing field. Suddenly we're on the planet, presumably, or previously visited even a dozen years ago. But apparently this group doesn't remember that.
We were not privy to the other visits by the ship's crew. It's a big planet.
So no one ever found what happened to this first Sillian that was regenerated from death. This Joshua Braun. What is he? No one knows. There have been reports of strange Sillians like him out there, but no one has confirmed it was him. After all, it would be very weird if he appeared in the real world. It is quite weird. I wonder if any of the other people who were indirectly associated with these Pine Hill kids got generated out of thin air. It seems to be problematic if they generated something bad.
It had been known to happen. There was a story in the Sillian records that indicates that one of the characters had turned bad and had to be frozen in space-time until they repented. They didn't. They were freed later. The person was, of course, Kyung-Yi Kim. She's not here, though she has no interest in this planet. It's still whimsical, doesn't follow orders like she liked. Come. Some of our leaders are ahead. I guess you could call them that. You'll find them rather bizarre by your standards. They do not follow the rules, they only follow their own.
I'm sure we can handle a little rebellion. Well, let's have a look.
This planet behaves like a bunch of frat boys and sword girls. I've encountered such things at the Space College, at the Klingon Academy. Even Klingons behave this way when in school.
This didn't happen to me at Starfleet Academy. Then again, I was in a different part of the Academy. More like the nerdy science group, and probably didn't have fun with all the jocks like you guys did. Yes, but the problem here is that they are 30 years too old to be doing that. That's why they wanted us in the first place, for this teen spirit, which makes no sense. I am beginning to suspect that was just an excuse to get us down here. I am called Wolfie. I was put in charge while the Grand Master, the Orion de Keptera, was away. But of course I have changed, and now I am full responsibility for the actions of my men. And I am Miriam Fillet.
I'm Greg Conroy. No relation to the late Kevin Conroy. I come from Andover. I'm more related to Cowpoke.
I'm Captain Ezra the Carno of the Chimera A. Your people temporarily had 2 of my crew, but let them go. You should punish them. We could, but we're not too interested. That would require me taking responsibility for my people, of which I will not. Captain Ezra, it would probably be best if you ignore her comments. She's kind of a fool. She's not really in charge of anything. The planet doesn't have people in charge of itself. So yeah, she's full of it. Why, I will sick my alpha male wolf people on you. The first and only werewolf/fiction shipping stories ever. And I write them all about my falling in love with werewolves. I want to conjure them, but it didn't work. So I just make up stories. Wolfie is so full of it. Don't listen to her about the werewolves. She obviously didn't invent them. I tried to tell her that on this one website on the MeTube. I tried to tell her, look, you're full of it. There's no way that you invented that. It's been around for centuries. She tried to sue. It didn't work. Now she's conjured here. Well, she's in purgatory, of course.
Do you people do anything on this planet? Or are you all slackers? Because that would be interesting. Then you would be descended from the slackers from the college planet.
You remind me a little bit of someone named Linda Craneshaw. She was interesting. Didn't take no flack from nobody. You might see her someday out here.
It didn't help that you spent most of the time pining for that Wendy girl from the other planet.
No, I'm not really from far out in Andover. I'm from here. And to think I didn't get with her either. Just as well, though. She was damaged goods.
What is it with this planet? They're stuck in the 90s. That's because they are. They made no cultural advancement since the flyer ship left them here. We must help them. We are Starfleet. And the Prime Directive doesn't apply, as we're accidental colony of Starfleet people. After all, we have warp drive, or I would not have made it here. A lot of Miriams live here, you see. Quite silly.
We were desperate. We had to find an answer. It had been so long since anyone had contacted the planet. At least anyone from Starfleet.
They were separated from the rest of the crew in some sort of accident.
They were duplicated. They were never supposed to be.
I can see why you asked me to come down here. Although the circumstances of my arrival were different. Yeah, more to do with time distortion.
Yes, I should say. I investigated. You were apparently from a doomed race in the future, which was allegedly encountered by your own ship, which was allegedly gone back in time to 2366. And then you were born because your father thought the ship destroyed his planet. So he cloned you. And then the future was changed by the destruction of Romulus and the synth attack. In your immediate future, the time of 2385 and 2387.
The alternate Journeyer and Protostar missions were convoluted. That's because she helped Janeway. The ship never went back in time. Her planet was not destroyed, and the Romulans took the weapon anyway and caused mayhem while the star blew up.
I never got that. Are you the prodigy of Star Trek Prodigy?
I didn't either. I guess it was that and Dodge. That's fun. You're a Mary Sue like me. But this is about us, because of this element you need. Where's your medical staff? Do you even have one? We fired them. You see, after the space plague hit the planet like it did the others, well, we found them incompetent and decided to kick them out. We made up all kinds of propaganda about their leaders and ousted them. Bye-bye. Unfortunately, now we all have kind of infected ourselves and stuff. But oh well.
Correction, you fired them. I did try to get them all back, but they had already left.
You see what I have to work with here? These people are all propaganda wizards, but they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. The planet would be destroyed without me here, completely decimated. You don't even have nurses or doctors, so what are you completely reliant on exactly? Textbooks for undergrad students. We'd had them for years. They're highly overpriced, though.
It's like we walked into the academy after all. Everyone seems to think they know it all.
But we do. We are Sillians.
Esri to Chimera. Can we spare Tendi also?
Yes, Captain. But sending any more of the command staff is a bad idea. Sir. Understood. Have her come down with a medical kit and a full library of the Sillian variants. Also check into the database concerning the Starship Flyer, the one from 2370, and look up Wolfie Honey, and Greg Conroy, and Miriam Follett, and the mission of James Kirk to the planet in 2266. That would be useful, as well as the medical records on the Miri virus. Yes, sir.
What'd you find down there, Captain? Thad?
Yes, but he's not himself. He claims to be Jay Bergman. You should remain there, Will, for now it is baffling. So you're probably wondering where's our leader. I mean, besides me, of course. I'm the leader instead, yes. You have a leader?
Yes, the Grand Master of the Orion of the Captera of the Valley Girl people.
Except there aren't any Valley Girls here. No Valley Girls here. At least there weren't any Valley Girls right here. There could be a shopping mall, though. They'd probably be there. Then why do they keep calling it that as if it's going to become a meme? Maybe they think that's how it works.
Isn't it? Even on your planet they say half-truths and stories repeatedly, and they become true.
Your thoughts create reality, which is nonsense. But in Sillian space it isn't. It's a throwback to the Marshall Sportiest. And from what was in the reports from the distant future, much of these phrases became part of a false lexicon narrative. They meant nothing. You would figure that in 700 years they would have evolved a little, but no.
This planet is trying too hard to be edgy. We have fun. For instance, I can play hacky sack. Wait
a minute. I understand that reference. I found that on another planet similar to this one. I'm surprised you two young people even know Lindsay of the Ellis. I didn't think you would even watch that. I mean, it's not even your demographic, is it? I don't play with demographics. I just watch what I watch. Besides, not everything is all the internet. But how do you have an internet anyway? I mean, technically you don't have any satellites and stuff.
Oh, we use the subspace stuff from over there in the ship. Yeah, we just use the space internet from that. We tapped into it with Borg technology. When they came here, we stole their transmitter. It's over there in the city.
You stole Borg technology and they didn't come looking for it, huh? I wonder why they didn't. It's very strange. You also showed me the one on the trip down here.
Captain, I have what you've been looking for. Problem is the Temporal Prime Directive.
I see. Well, we wouldn't want to break the Temporal Prime Directive now. What can you tell us? I would like access to your Cultural Center library. Do you have any on the Flyer, the Paradox, or the records of which Cat and Cards were part of the crew? Most of the records were destroyed when the Nichols left, but very well, we'll take you to it.
I used to be more important when the Flyer was around, but the Frankson kicked me out for being a loose cannon. You're a loose what?
I'm sure it's just a figure of speech. Your planet had a Flyer after the accident? Did this Nichols take it?
Darn straight he did. Flew off to find the Starship Spartan. He would occasionally call back. Last we heard he'd found the Bentel and rejoined the crew. He'd been looking for Char, obviously. Obsessively, and never found her.
He was trying to have an affair, but Donna convinced him not to. His wife.
Yeah, it's over this way. The librarian, though, is kind of odd by her own admonition. Come on, we have time. Just don't get too loud.
I'm the librarian. What brings you here? I'm Captain Ezri Locarno of the Chimera. We come to the colony looking for our crew. We found them, but need information. What kind? We were stranded here since the time of the leaving of Nichols. I am Cadet Kestra. How was Nichols in charge of anything here? I'm distracted. Is that one of them? A teenager? I haven't seen one in a long time. We are also a cadet, Tam Locarno. That is my mom.
Uh-huh.
You're two minds then, like the Big Tribble? Not exactly. We are gender neutral and fluid. I am not joined. Amazing. I've met Trill before, or my counterpart did. Her name was Jadzia Dax. You can't be Chew. Oh my god, you are. I am Chew. You know Jadzia. Excellent. I was Jadzia. I carried the symbiote that was her, and many other lives inside me. She was killed in 2375. By your estimate, that would have been 5 years after you were left here. We are here to possibly bring you home. But we were left here.
It would create a few issues, time travel-wise. You might run into your other selves. Well, I'm sure my other self is awesome. He strings tennis rackets, a shop in Santa Cruz. But enough about that. We can discuss that later.
Onlies, is there something you're not telling us? You need to get acclimated. You've been separated from Sillian space for years. Uh-huh. So what do you want to know? This Grand Master of Orion de Captera. We're not even close to planet Captera. Who is this? Cinders. Sometimes Tom or his wife Karen. One of the rogue Marshall Sporties people? Where is he?
He's on a mission. It's classified.
I see. Why is this planet called Valley Girl? It is not. Khaki likes calling it that. Wolfie too. We assume it was still Miriam planet. Something went wrong. Technically it still is. But it's kind of strange nowadays. Because the original Miriam passed away well over 100 years ago. It's true, the planet Miriam. You might have encountered it before. We have been to the Miriam planet that is here before.
Hold on. This is Miriam?
Yes, you're just on a different part of the planet. It would seem they're a little confused. Something went wrong. Maybe their computer's broken down or something. No, our computer is not broken. The problem is that our planet, all the teenagers up and left. They were bored of the planet and left us all behind. Your teenagers all left, huh? It seems that they're not entirely being honest. So how could you possibly use us to find the teenagers again? It's kind of silly.
So I've been told. You see, long ago, the planet was inhabited by a group of ageless teenagers. But Starfleet from the Federation came here, and the Starship cured the virus that was plaguing the planet. And she received most adults would die on the planet once they reached adulthood.
A planet where everyone is a teenager for hundreds of years? That's kind of cringe. If you ask me, that would be hell. I would not like that. Let me just think of all those hormones raging. Boys being boys, it sounds like a nightmare. According to Starfleet records, the planet was visited in 2266 by the Starship Ventura under Captain James T. Quirk. He found the planet to be inhabited by extra-long-lived teenagers. Several members of his crew were stricken with a strange virus that was killing them. Only through the expertise of Dr. McCoy were they able to synthesize an antidote. Of course, this would have the effect of stopping the long aging. Yes, my ancestor was the girl Quirk encountered. The original matriarch of the planet was called Miriam. She named the planet after herself. She was, well, extremely pretentious when she got older. But yes, she did get older. Yeah, well, according to records, there have been other starships here, even a Ventura from the later period. There was a ship here about 10 years ago, in fact, from the Ventura, roughly 10 years ago. And they had a ship, and took some of the crew to be part of their mission. They haven't been heard from or seen since. Yes, we were wondering whatever happened to Wendy McKinley.
It's not a name I'm directly familiar with. Perhaps the other traveler, the Wessian, knows something. I heard the Wessian had been here before as well.
Tacky. When was the last time there was a teenager on this planet?
I assumed that when Nagini and the others were here, that they were teenagers, but it turns out that they were just closer to our age and just silly. I'm a little older than you. It's like on that Earth TV vids where we used to. There'd be a 20-something dude playing a teenager on a sitcom, and they'd be 20-something. He'd be like, he hadn't been in school for 10 years.
We're going to need to do some scans to determine how they disappeared. All right, I'm going to have to consult the doctor on my ship. As long as we determine that there's no other space plague on the planet, we'll be all right. Have the librarian look up what she can about where they went. Perhaps we can come up with a solution. Over here.
Yes, Captain.
Scanning for the last visual location of youths under 18 on the planet? That could take a while.
I would ask you to eat some of our local cuisine. However, the food in the cafeteria on the other side is terrible. You won't like any other food.
That's all right. We would have to scan to make sure that the food was edible before consuming it. After all, we don't want to just beam down to a planet and help yourself to local cuisine. You can end up eating something you shouldn't.
Yeah, very well.
I have a problem accessing the census people on the planet. It's classified. I have no more data. Can you tell us who classified it?
That is classified. Don't look at me. I only work here. I have no idea who'd be in charge of that. Well, I could use my powers to find that out, but then this romp would be over before it started.
I may be of help here. You're not going to read their minds for a name. That'd be wrong. No, but I can persuade them. I classified them. It was me. I didn't want anyone to know my real age. You're not being honest.
How do you know that?
She's a mind raider.
I am, but I didn't have to read her mind to know it. Although the records are classified, I have no reason why I would not point out who did it. You'll find them at this location. Tell us then. We can just make up our minds along the way. Just doesn't seem right. Yeah, it does seem a little too obvious. What do you suppose the natives would gain by making it up? Not so much making it up as leaving out the more important bits. Miriam Fillet, what do you know of this? I'm not in charge. I may be descended from the children of the planet, but I was never in a position of power to them. Not like grandmother Miriam, founder of the planet. I was a black sheep. I ran off and joined a cult. Maybe you've heard of it. COL.
Not him.
He refused my offers.
For sex? Well, that's not going to happen.
Why, you! Stop that. You're bickering like an old couple.
I am Michael Whitecloud Agini. I have taken back my name and split myself from the Gabriel Agini. I should never have been joined to him.
You could not have. I am Ezri Locarno, the Starship Chimera A. Are you the Grand Orion of Keptera?
That'd be funny. No, I'm not, Cinders. I have been told, though, that you have been asking too many questions, and I'm here to answer them.
He is lying. I would know.
Ah, another warp sailor, another traveler. Did you come from the Miriam or from the Martial Sportists? The Miriam. The Sillians merged me with their Igini, and I shared his memories and his disturbing nightmares. Mainly he had to sleep with his Kyungi. That is scary. But I was an aspiring poet and playwright, not a champion surfer. Yes, a few years after his leaving, he became the best softball player ever, also, and kept quoting from old Earth movies. It got very annoying. How dare you? Field of Dreams is a masterpiece. Oh yeah? He wasn't the best softball player ever. According to the records that I can recall, the Bomber team had kicked him out for being incompetent and being the worst baseball player ever. So there you go. Hey, how'd you know that?
Do you know where the teenagers are? And why is it so hot out here?
I convinced them to leave by showing them my favorite movie over and over as I taught drama until they left.
He believes that's what happened. I don't think they know what happened. They're just guessing. Then what did happen? They just reappeared here with no memories of the past? We'll have to lead the visitors to the place where things are made classified. And then they will find some answers. It'll be a perilous trek. Seem they want an excuse to hold us here. That would seem to be it. What is it, Doctor? You are the one crewman not affected by going down there. Probably something to do with your Orion physiology. I came back up as soon as the others went looking for the confidential files on the planet. It made no sense. Confidential? The locals said where the teenagers went was classified, but wouldn't say. As for Tam and Castor guessing, they couldn't answer. Any idea how they guessed that? Maybe their teen spirit. The locals also wanted some of that, but I doubt they knew what it was. Might also explain you're not getting it. You always were something of a kid at heart. Gee, thanks. The Miriam virus had been thought eradicated over a century ago. It isn't. It mutated, and I must find a cure for it as soon as possible.
Doc, how are they?
They're not showing any signs of the contagion yet. The biofilters should have screened out most of it.
Is Roshenko effective?
Yes, but it's not doing much, but making him more teen-like. I'm immune for some reason. It must have something to do with the space plague. It latched onto the RNA base of retrovirus and stole it like a parasite invading a cell. A parasite. Tendi, I have a theory. You think it's airborne or some kind of chemical only found on youths? Admiral Locarno, report to sickbay. On my way. What have you got? I need to look at the biofilters on the alien ship now. The alien ship. They took Castor and Tam, but they were immune. How were they immune? The original disease would kill the adults once they reached adulthood, but it was cured.
What's going on? Any news about the stranded landing party?
Only I was allowed to return to the ship because I seemed not affected at all. I expect the alien ship is crawling with a variant of the Onlies virus, or the Miriam virus, but it is hitching a ride on the space plague.
We should quarantine the ships until further notice. We cannot have another outbreak.
I need to visit the alien ship to make certain.
I think we can arrange that.
Rest assured, sir, the crew is safe for now. The mutation will not kill them, but they will begin to become more and more disoriented with time.
How is that? The original virus really affected even non-natives?
The virus is still there, it's just not as deadly. They will eventually be driven mad, though. We must come up with something.
All right, get over there and meet with their medical staff. Report back your findings. But just in case, take precautions. I am Dr. Tabby.
You do not resemble a house cat.
No, only when I wear my fursuit at Halloween parties. No, but my second used to serve with a Caton doctor. She was tabby patterned, but if you called her that, she'd scratch you.
Do not be alarmed. I am tame and non-malevolent.
Fascinating. You're the brawn, while your bluegill is the brain.
Yes, some of us are not deviant.
Good to hear.
You wish to scan the atmospheric system.
Yes, do you have a medical staff? And why do you think you needed Teen Spirit? And are you a Nirvana fan?
It's complicated, I admit. I see, scanning. It was a guess. Wesley and the others assumed if they found some of the Sillian spirit, it would help the planet.
So they lured us here to get something on a hunch?
Several decades ago, another Ventura encountered what they thought were Gorn. But they were Regulon bloodworm-infested Gorn. I was thinking it might be that.
I don't think so. Scanning.
The Regulon bloodworms are like the bluegill to the Trill symbiotes.
The Regulon bloodworm is not sentient, unless you count that offshoot of Gorn from a century ago.
I did not think that the space plague related to the bloodworms. It was smaller than that. It originated on Earth.
I know about that. This is not exactly that. It mutated. The virus has latched onto the other viruses, and is spreading again, but less deadly. You hope to use youthful exuberance to make an antidote. Who thought of that?
Jennifertus, our Borg queen, ordered it.
Zero. There's no such thing as a teen elixir. Your queen is mistaken. However, she's partly right about the parasitic creatures and the virus. But from my scan, it would indicate it's the other way around. I must return to my ship with a sample.
I will remain here with the others. I will continue looking for a cure from here. We must find one before your adults on the landing party all go crazy.
What's going on?
And I am becoming more agitated.
Uh-oh. I'm losing focus on our objective. You brought this here. What did I do? Do you have the itch?
I have the itch. At least I'm still a sexy creature. Wasn't I supposed to be filing something or something? Some secret, but I don't remember what it was. I hate not remembering. What is wrong with them? I'm going to guess they were drunk or high, but they haven't been drinking anything. What if something is in the air? Huh, and why did Tendi quickly return to the ship? Wasn't this a plague planet? It was. Oh, damn it. How come we aren't affected? The planet was once ruled by ageless children. This is so weird. Maybe this teen spirit has some merit. No, it's a virus. Is it going to hurt the crew? It's what's going to hurt the crew. What crew? My head hurts. Mom, you sound drunk. I do. I'm not drinking.
Oh my, I can't have this. I'm a traveler.
Maybe you're too traveled.
Must be my humanoid form.
How come we're starting to be silly? This is not supposed to happen.
No, it can't be. You and I should be immune. We used the thing. I had that thing once. It didn't work.
You used something. Can you be more specific?
I can't, because it's classified.
You're just saying that. It's not classified.
Yeah, it is. You totally is.
You see, he said a Valley Talk word. That's important, isn't it?
I am beginning to suspect that you guys literally have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, we really shouldn't be the voices of reason around here. It would seem the adults have it bad, whatever it is.
Space virus thing, I guess. Yeah, it kind of contaminated the planet during the incident earlier. But that too is classified.
Well, in the absence of rational adults, I guess we must contact the ship. Yeah, they kind of know our plight, but it's growing increasingly weird. They're not threatening, they're just acting really silly. It's just annoying. Please respond.
We read ya, but there's not much we can do yet. The doctor's looking into it.
Well, let us know if you find anything new. Meanwhile, we will continue to meander toward wherever the documents place is.
Well, I'm detecting nothing unusual from here. If you're heading in that direction, you'll eventually come to the learning center or something. Yeah, they rebuilt this place to copy the actual Evergreen from backup Earth. So they even had a fault line that runs through the campus. And they tried to put buildings on it, and some of them collapsed. Yeah.
It wasn't my doing. I didn't do it.
I remember that as Jadzia. The board had come here during the time of Deep Space Station 4, and they had infiltrated the campus. They were intent on building a large radio dish over the fountain thing over there. That's long gone, apparently. Are you coming around or just being silly again? I am Dax, the symbiote. We are not affected. Really? That's interesting.
Well, just so you don't end up saving the mission like I used to do every time I did that. Picard used to tell me to shut up. Shut up, Wesley. I rather didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm not one bit. Then later on he made me an acting ensign, and then I kind of diverged from the other.
I almost remember that building over there. It's the building where you might find something. Yeah, it's in there. Well, that narrows it down. What if there haven't been any technological advances since the time of the last ship that was here? Not many, with half of our scientific staff completely missing, the rest of them missing. And also it was kind of hard to build anything of note.
This planet does not violate the Prime Directive. It humiliates it.
Where did the teenagers go? Or were they never here? I cannot say for sure, but it's classified. Well, at least you guys could tell us who classified them. I mean, what harm would it do to tell us who did it? Oh no, I couldn't do that. They are silly. I wonder why they think we need team spirit. We're clearly silly already. The building appears to be locked. No one's around. Oh well, let's turn around and go back.
How annoying.
You have no idea. I've been around these people for ages, and they're all weird like that. Even when there isn't a debilitating space plague going on.
Well, it's nothing anyway. I'm sure there aren't any working computers in that building anyway. So yeah.
Why don't we have a look for ourselves? That would be against the rules.
Who made up the rules?
I don't know. I assumed you knew.
I've made up many rules, most of them to benefit me, of course.
Well, nobody should listen to you anyway.
But they would do best to listen to me, because I am awesome. Well, the transmitters were working at one time, but not anymore.
I'm not detecting any kind of transmission. Nothing is emanating from what's left of the fountain. No transmitter. At least, none are working. Well, I haven't ever seen any of them working. Any computer things around here. Not in a while, anyway.
The level of incompetence here is staggering. I think it's more indifference. They seem to be stuck in the 90s, where everyone behaved like they were emos, even when they weren't.
Everyone wanted to be somebody, and everybody was nobody.
I've done scans of the atmosphere on the ship, and I've done scans of those that were infected on the away team samples brought up from the planet by Tenty.
What have they found?
The virus latches on to the macromolecules of the RNA sequence. Apparently it's what's left of the space plague virus. It apparently hitched a ride on the virus on the planet. It's almost sentient. So I was thinking maybe it's bloodworms, but no, it wasn't bloodworms. It was more like nanoprobes.
The Borg.
A mutated strain of them, yes. They're essentially being assimilated.
How do we stop that?
The retrovirus seems to be acting like a parasitic organism and is multiplying using the robotic nanoprobes latched onto it. It's different from the original Miri virus, which was something else. Close enough, though.
How do we create an antidote for that?
We need to synthesize a sample of the local viral infection. The problem is that it started in their teenage population, and they left. But apparently they're all missing. I'm not sure why they're all missing.
All of them are missing? I wonder where they went. It's as if they all disappeared somewhere. Keep scanning. There must be there.
That's unlikely. The whole teenage population just left the planet. They gotta be there somewhere. Unless they're all dead. I don't think they are. They did seem desperate to meet with other teenagers. Weird.
Yeah, for some reason they wanted our kids. Great. Well, I hope they're all right down there. They're very smart. I'm sure they'll figure it out. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to hang out with my daughter since becoming an admiral and all. I had a lot of time to do that with mine. Been around for a long time, and we've been on that planet. I stayed pretty much on the planet the whole time. She never really had anywhere to go outside. Just stay on the planet. That's quite the opposite of mine. I can see why they'd be friends. I was more concerned that she might get into trouble because she doesn't understand how the universe works. Only what she's read in textbooks, and not been exploring too much. Being on this ship was good for the past couple of years. I'm glad that we could be of help. We'll get them back, don't worry.
I've isolated a large concentration of the viral infection on the planet. It seems to be in a large lake area, concentrated near one of the larger city-states. Perhaps we could isolate some of it and bring it aboard for scanning. That'd be dangerous. Perhaps the people down on the away team should have a look at this area. It isn't far from the position.
If you don't think it'll make it worse.
I'm not sure what it'll do. That's why we're going to test it.
Can you confer with this Zero?
They're still aboard their ship. I will confer with them.
Doc, any theory as to why they would want teen spirit on the planet? They seem obsessed with it.
I'm not sure, but I think it might have something to do with them lacking motivation. There's one thing that affects the bored part of them, is the fact that they are unmotivated. Perhaps they simply wanted to be encouraged.
Well, they can't go around taking prisoners. That's just not right. This wouldn't have anything to do with Zeldanian Nintendosis. It's a weird Sillian virus that enables hyper-ambition in others, and makes some of them even want to do time travel and go wreck the universe. One such infection got Sillian Guest, who visited the crew in 2396. He destroyed the Starship Chimera before we could stop it. The previous one.
I can investigate this as well. I suppose there would be some connection. If this ambition could be reversed, they would be lethargic and bored. Computer, access Zeldanian Nintendosis. Fascinating. Check the transmissibility of the molecules of that virus. An airborne and waterborne pathogen. Both. Fascinating. It infected the crew of the Starship Ventura D, also known as the Enterprise, but mainly spread through the children as they allowed families aboard. In the year 2365, could have still been on the ship. Computer, I need access to the medical records database of Starfleet at that time. I have something. Although this planet was not directly affected by the strain, no one on the planet was inoculated from those visiting from it. You don't suppose it was carried on some away team? Computer, in 2368, when they visited this planet, were there any Sillian teenagers aboard the Ventura D during the visit?
Wait a minute. There's a Zeldanian Nintendosis? That annoying thing the virus did? Oh, no, that can't be. That's too obvious.
You know something?
The Sillians joined Starfleet Academy. The first assignment they went on was to that planet. This planet specifically. Oh well, sort of a copy of the planet. You see, the Sillians are silly that way. They're silly. And Earth had an Academy branch called Evergreen. And it was generated by the Sillian powers. But they also copied it here on this planet. And that's when all the time warps increased. There's only one person that could be the one you're looking for, and who has been on that planet and the ship at the time.
These Sillians with Q powers infested Starfleet Academy's version of Evergreen with Zeldanian Nintendosis without even knowing it? It seems highly unlikely. It's more likely one of them did it. Well, according to this, it could. Now, it couldn't have been Connor, or Hazel, or Holter, as they were inoculated. However, one of your crew was not. Your Wesley Crusher. He must be a carrier. We will need a sample of his DNA.
I wonder if we're going to find out what's going on this planet. I'm not even sure myself. I'm becoming sillier every moment that I remain here.
I'm too becoming very, very strange.
Strange thing is that I'm already weird and it shouldn't affect me that much.
I'm totally an alpha wolf. Yes, I'm the most impressive alpha wolf ever. Yet, I'm not even technically a furry.
You know that alpha wolf omega wolf thing is disproven, right? There ain't no such animal. That's right. You know they made that up later. The dude that said it later recanted. I don't expect you to know that. For some reason, I'm becoming more clever as this goes on. It's probably just a few of us that are left are becoming more and more insane. Where were we headed? Somewhere to go and find something? I don't remember.
The adults have become strange. What are we going to do? Well, I guess we have to lead them somewhere. We can't be alone, of course. Let us go in the direction we were headed. I guess that's the plan. Well, we're going to head toward one of the larger buildings or something.
Oh, I haven't heard any tunes coming out of this radio station in a very long time. But back then, they used to play Zuni Fetish all the time. They didn't really play Zuni Fetish at all. It was very obscure even then. But they did often play Blink-182 and Korn and Nirvana. Even some Alanis Morissette.
The planet is screwing with you. It must have something to do with the virus. We seem to be immune to it. I'm everything. I want everyone to know how brilliant I am.
Oh, Wolfie. I'll have you know that I'm everything. When I was the dramatic king of the school, it was me who stood before the other thespians, and it was I who inadvertently dropped my pants to reveal that I was wearing my underwear underneath, in front of the entire audience, with their immediate applause. It was brilliant. I planned it. Yeah. My belt really didn't break. Yeah, that's it. I'd rather not have a repeat of that scene. Yeah, we don't want to see your Johnson. You keep that in your pants there. Don't want to see that? Nope. Oh, I wouldn't do it now. It wouldn't be proper. There aren't enough people here on the stage to see the show of shows. Because if Calvin Klein could talk, I'd be ruined. Except that they weren't Calvin Klein's. They were Levi's. And your underwear were Fruit of the Loom, you idiot. Why, you? How dare you? Doubting the brilliance of me. I wish they were khaki Levi's. Yeah, oh, did I say that? Well, never mind. I'm silly. You can really ignore me when I'm saying. Now, by the way, what were you doing?
We're not making any progress here. Y'all must come this way. Yes, we must figure out why we're being held here, before this drives us all crazy. I believe we're all suffering from whatever chased off the teenagers. It seems to be affecting the adults. I signaled the ship and apprised them of our situation. However, they're still working on the cure and haven't come up with one yet.
I wonder why it hasn't affected me that much. It appears that I'm okay. That remains up for debate.
Are you sure? Whatever this is, I will outclass it with my brilliance. It is odd, though, that I can't wish my brilliance to be stronger than it should be. My Sillian powers seem to be weaker after I came here. That's because you only have half of your Sillian powers. Most villains only get half their powers. Something to do with how the original Sillians behaved. It's completely unfair. You mean that the Sillians developed their mental powers, but then some sort of dampening field as well? So they could just pick and choose who they liked? That's ridiculous. Maybe it was a defense mechanism. Maybe the villains got too powerful, so they had to hold them in check. Still doesn't make any sense. Why have an omnipotent and omnipresent Q being directing them to have powers, anyway? They're going to abuse that power. I mean, just imagine all they would need to say is, I demand you like me, and then they just would. That'd be really weird.
Well, I've only known of a few that used their powers incorrectly. They were banned from the Sillian universe.
That's convenient. Who decides morally whether someone is worthy or not? The Sillian powers are there, and then I'm like, the presence that decides. And you say, well, you've broken the law, so zap, silly and ridiculous. I guess you'll have to ask the Sillians how that works. I'll ask them, but for now, I've been silly before. I used to make up alien languages and planets and stuff. Yeah, my thoughts created reality as well. I've seen you do that. On the mission to the Tribble planet, for instance. We were already on our way there when you wished us to get there quicker. Somehow you never really explained that. But yes, you sort of just said, oh well, we should get there quicker. And we were there quicker. I did that? Huh. You seem to develop your Sillian powers independent of mine. But the Sillian powers aren't team spirit. It's just the Q has been messing with everybody. Yeah, the Q aliens. And they decided that you should have powers because it originally annoyed Picard, I guess.
That's true. It did annoy Picard, or Lucky Clerk. And that's because, you see, he didn't like children. So even though there were kids and families, with the adults that served on the ship, they were all families on the Ventura D. It annoyed him so. And then Q showed up and he was like, oh, Picard is annoyed by this, so I shall make it so they're given powers.
Hi, I'm Peppermint. Bluegill and Tribble. But I'm trained. Well, that is, I was given proper neural implants to make me more pacifist. Which is itself kind of twisted on them to do that on that planet that I was on. But so be it. I will pose no threat.
Oh, you're nearly as large as the Tribble Queen.
The Tribble Queen was my indirect mother. I guess grandmother, technically. Anyway, I'm here to provide you medical assistance from the ship. Knowing that my physiology is so different than theirs, there's no way the Zeldanian Nintendosis would affect me. That is true. Also, it does not affect me, as I'm a non-corporeal energy being. I am a Medusan. Anyway, so Dr. Tabby and Tendi are working on an antidote. But we need to sample some of your DNA. Specifically the carrier among you. Yes, I've determined.
I'm not going to reveal my SDI to the likes of all of you.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that none of us have been with you. Oh, I better get back to the ship and have myself checked out. Just kidding. Yeah, but, Doc, that should be done. Well, I don't think any of us have actually been with Wolfie. I mean, I've been known to go on the furry side, but not with her. Just saying. She's not a real one anyway. She's pretending to be a furry. Well, yes, of course. This way to the station. Doesn't look like anyone here. They can just activate the recording device, and then when they hear my dulcet tones, I give them what they've always desired, more of me. We believe the carrier may be Wesley himself. Mr. Crusher, may we examine your DNA as well? Okay, that sounds silly, but again, ready for anything.
That's interesting, that you were commander back on the ship. Well, I wasn't technically a captain. And not like my counterpart who's a captain. Or my other counterpart who was a warp sailor, who was a traveler that travels the stars. I also am a traveler. One of my counterparts, he agreed to sleep with the traveler, which is disgusting.
So if he's the carrier, then he's the one that started the whole thing. So if he hadn't actually abducted us, the ship, then it wouldn't have spread to the planet.
Pretty much. It was you that led us on this wild goose chase. Yeah, but I didn't know I was a carrier.
Well, that was because of the eugenics virus that made them long-lived. As they reached puberty, they would then become mortal again and die of a horrible disease, which was cured over a century ago by Starfleet. The new version, though, appears to be an offshoot. Do you know anything?
We do. Tabby and the crew have isolated a strain of the Zeldanian Nintendosis. Apparently it was spread here by an earlier version of Wesley during the mission of the Starship Ventura D in 2368, when it came here with the Sillian children. We have isolated the possible pathogen within the adult version of Wesley. We now should be middle-aged for a human. I'm not middle-aged. I'm only 52, according to Starfleet records.
Oh, he's only a baby.
Aren't we like the same age?
My symbiote is quite a bit older than you, but I say literally we are the same age. But women mature faster than boys during puberty.
We do.
It's because men tend to be man babies for a very long time.
Our scans indicate that the Zeldanian Nintendosis had mutated after linking up with the space plague, which also had originated from a virus similar to the one on this planet. Once the virus mutated, yes, it made the children leave the planet. Actually, that kind of makes sense.
They became ambitious and wanted to leave. I wonder if they assembled a ship or took one that happened to be lying around. I don't think they took a ship. At least, I wouldn't think they'd be able to build one. I don't think that they built a ship either, but I think they had help. Khaki here is not telling us what happened. Even if now he's under the duress of the ailment, he might not even be able to tell us. So the original ailment would kill the adults, but now it just makes them ambitious, but unable to do anything with their ambition. Interesting. So what are we going to do about it? You could assist them. I wonder if they need any scans of our DNA. I wouldn't trust them with scans of our DNA. I mean the locals anyway. Besides, our stuff is on file on the ship. Why didn't they just ask us in the first place? Probably would have said yes. They didn't need to grab us and take us to this planet. Maybe they figured that we'd say no, like the Binars in that one Ventura D mission. The station building appears to be just ahead, and it is closed. There is, however, evidence of some sort of a shuttlecraft near there.
The shuttlecraft could not have held the entire teenage population of the planet. But we don't know what that was.
Some of the population originally came over from the far-out planet, the planet of the Endover ship, whereas the ship here was similar, and I have no idea where they went. Maybe the planet, like the others like Key Draconis, Kepterra, and Rebel Terra, were all kind of connected to this vast group of fleeing Sillians that all left the Earth generations ago. Miriam, why don't you just take us to the Hidden Valley part of the planet, so that we can see that maybe it's where some of them went? She was idyllic for them to go there. Except that the Hidden Valley thing is just a soundstage on a set. It isn't real.
I forgive your blasphemy.
I thought since it's real to us, our thoughts would make it reality. Even when we tried to regenerate it with that Netflix show. Didn't really work, though.
No, mostly because you ruined it every time you walked on the set. You wanted to add stuff to the story. They would go there like how awesome you were.
Well, at least you didn't shoot the assistant director with a prop gun.
Nope, I didn't do that. That was Baldwin. It's too soon for that joke.
Have you learned anything, Zero?
Attempting to use the medical tricorder synthesizer to activate the samples and see what happens, and then report back to the ship. It appears the samples are reacting slower than expected.
Is the sample mutating more than usual?
No, it is not mutating. It's sort of adapting, just like the nanoprobe thing. In addition to it being the Zeldanian Nintendosis, you see, when it affected the original Pine Hill children, which I looked up, it behaved a lot like the Borg virus, according to the records. The virulent strain within Wesley is also within Esri. Interesting. Huh. It seems to be almost non-existent in Khaki and Agini. It is quite prevalent in Rajenko, and I'm not sure why. Tam and Kestra appear to have antibodies. That's odd. That would mean that Tam and Kestra actually are carrying something useful to those on the planet. See, we guessed at everything. I just assumed they would, yeah.
I take it we wouldn't be of use in there at this time.
No, the scans indicate that your physiology is already exposed to it. And as well, you just have different antibodies.
So we're all here on a hunch.
This is silly.
Well, we gotta figure out what they're doing at the station.
There's nobody there. They couldn't have left that long ago. Recent evidence lying around seems to indicate they only left weeks ago.
Yes, there seems to be leaflets thrown about. One of them indicates that there was some sort of gathering, but it was cancelled.
The Hidden Valley reprise was cancelled, so there was no concert. Let's go inside and see the set.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh boy, a stage! I can hardly wait to display my thespian acting ability to you all. Keep your pants on.
He had better.
If he attempts to lose his drawers, I will stun him.
You ought to get a shirt and have that printed on.
Yes.
So this is the soundstage where they were shooting the show Hidden Valley, the remake. The Next Generation, whatever, yeah. Well, at least it wasn't My Little Pony Generation 5. Generation 4 was far superior.
Yes, it was magical.
Rashenko, I never pegged you for a brony.
Sparkle, sparkle. Twilight sparkle. I was kind of an Applejack fan myself.
Well, a couple of grown men want to watch a show for children about little horse magic characters. Yeah, so what? It's the 21st century, or is it the 25th?
Must be the space virus.
No, I don't think it is. Someone was just here.
It is a female humanoid. This place is annoying.
Oh, hi, Zero. There's been equal parts random and cagey. We must find a cure for the space virus so we can go home. The medical staff here is practically not there. We haven't seen them in a long time. I wonder how they cope with something basic like a cut or a scrape without a medical staff.
Maybe we shouldn't call her out. Suppose she's infected even more. She's not one of my exes. You brag too much. I bet you don't even have an ex on this planet. I have an analysis, and I do also. But it will be difficult to do a scan of other youths without a test group. What did you find? A mutated strain. It's apparently behaving like the space plague virus, but it's different. She's using a similar tact to the Regulon bloodworms, and it appears to be partly sentient. Are you saying that it's alive? Not only alive, but sentient? Can we communicate with it?
How can that be?
Well, if it's using nanoprobe technology, it's probably programmed to act like that. Just don't know how to do that. What is it? It is one of my exes. Are you really? Are you trying to say that the space virus is engineered somehow for my counterpart? Because that's kind of ridiculous. It's also ridiculous that I would carry any of the antibodies. I mean, come on.
Well, if you're exactly like your counterpart, sure it's possible, and not ridiculous. Can you synthesize an antidote, Doctor?
The transporter biofilter should be able to filter this out, now that we know what it is. But I guess it doesn't, which means that the transporters don't recognize it as a pathogen. Well, until we come up with something, the landing party has to stay here and remain on the planet. Then the longer we remain on the planet, that might also lead to our thoughts making weird new realities happen.
That'd be bad, especially if some of us had Sillian powers.
The female is still cowering in the office. I don't think she's going to come out. One of us has to go in.
On a hunch, a silly one, a woman should go to the office. She may not respond well to men.
I will go.
I will go as well.
The planet needs our information for some reason. We should go first.
Well, lead the way.
I do not like this, but very well. I really do hope it's not one of my exes.
Oh, you're not the one I was expecting. I was expecting to see Chowday. I'm not Jody, I'm Kestra Pickerly, or Riker. And I am Tamara Locarno. Rather, we are. Yes, gender fluid. Just to annoy the uber right-wing troglodytes that are bound to watch this and be mad. You know what? I don't care. Your friend Nagini is right. I'm one of his counterparts' exes. When I was at Marshall Sportiest, he was shagging the Grandmaster. It was a secret, but it got out. I don't know very much about the Marshall Sportiest, so I'll take your word for it. Well, that doesn't matter. They've disbanded. But what is interesting is that the Grandmaster of the Orion of the Keptera apparently made himself leader of the planet, and all other TV planets like it, and cancelled my favorite show. I helped produce it. I was fired. The Hidden Valley. Oh, our planet Nepotesia was loosely based on that. And Ardani as well. But OG Hidden Valley. OG original series. Of course it was, dear. If it weren't for one of my kind, the Rikers never would have had you, or Thad. That's right, where is he, and how do you know he's missing? Well, I've been monitoring you from the station. I know you were coming. Took long enough to get here. Don't worry, though. He's a little tied up now. Come, we must greet the others. I don't want to dawdle. I wondered when you were going to figure it all out. As did I, Soul Sister. Although you took a shining to that Adriana Foster girl, so I wasn't too sure which side you were on. I'm on my own side. After all, the stuff I've been through, all the adventures I've been on, from far out to Andover and various other planets, yeah, I've done everything. I doubt you've done everything, because I've done everything. Well, I was stuck. I was delayed. I was watching endless reruns of Cheers and Star Trek II repeatedly, because Kirstie Alley and all that. And J.D. Frank and Power Rangers. It's not too soon. Indeed, so where's Thad? We lost track of him hours ago, actually. Well, he's instigated the whole thing, this charade, if you will. You two look familiar. Yes, eerily familiar. Well, rather odd, but easy to explain. There was a reboot, and we ended up not using your particular models. We probably should have. Maybe more people would have watched some of younger versions of our characters, loosely inspired by here on this planet. You're telling the truth. How is that possible? Sillians, it's the buzzword and go-to word for everything that ever happens. The Sillians did it, the Sillians did it. The planet is ingenious. The realm is even more so. The universe, the multiverse, Sillian, even more so. We are you. What? Run that by me again. They're called the Preservers. There are also various underlings, such as the Warp Sailors, even the Q to an extent. But now, I suppose it's all very clear, or maybe Organians, even the Medusans, who would be similar, I would guess.
These entities appear to be human.
When I was at Marshall Sportiest like she was, I also was fully human. We appear to be completely fully human. Isn't that fun? Hold on a second. How can we be you? We grew up. We were infants, and we were adolescents, and now we're teenagers, and now we're young adults going to Starfleet Academy. I know I'm not some kind of creation of the robot thing, right? Still don't know how that would work, but okay, I'll accept it. When the synth ban occurred, there was no way for anyone to construct robots within the Federation. However, this planet is not within the Federation's jurisdiction. This is a quarantine planet. But Tam is a human, not an android. But she is fully human and grew up as a fully human one. There's been some genetic tweaking here. It's essential to the story of the natives of Miriam. And that's what caused the problems in the first place, hundreds of years ago. So you're trying to say that these older ladies, now roughly Mom's age, are just creations of the planet that have been generated, and we're related to them because we were built. That's a little weird. It was the only way to keep the status quo going. See, after the original Ventura visited the planet and cured the adults, it also activated part of what made the planet a curiosity among the Preservers, and they came back for their creations. From the Misfit Toys planets. They also assisted in resettling the population.
You mean I'm really just a copy of the original Agini and some other guy as well? I really am just a knockoff leftover? A chimera? Like, I can live with that.
Do you mean that I'm not really the Dame Commandant of all the glories of the Evergreen back in the day when I was a queen? I tried to tell you, you were never a queen. You just thought you were. Even your counterpart isn't a queen. Nor is she an alpha wolf. Stop with the wolf stuff. She is ridiculous, isn't she? Models like her are a little cracked. Why, I'm not some kind of knockoff fake. It's impossible. I will not hear any more of this. I'm out. So, Thaddeus and Kestra are simply models, as sophisticated as those on the Voyager's space cloud. They transcended human form. You have nothing to fear from the planet. However, it will be interesting to look around. But then that weird element is going to make us go crazy. But that's silly. And then we'll be really silly. We can filter it out. I wasn't sure at first if that's what was going on, but now that I realize, yeah, we needed you to figure it out.
You know about this. How could you possibly have known all about this?
It was originally a guess, and we wanted to test. We wanted to see how far it would go.
You let us do this and go after them and bring them here, knowing full well that one of them came from here. Why?
There was an infection here, that's why we let you here. It's not really that we were hiding it from you. You discovered it on your own. So why did you just contact us instead of sending some of your people to abduct 2 members of my crew? They were a little overzealous. They shouldn't have done that. I'm sure you would have listened, and I should be punished.
Hey, wait, you're not in charge. You weren't giving us the orders. Yeah, she wouldn't give you the orders. Who was then? The orders came from Wesley. I, too, was following orders. The overseers of the board sent me here. Those two cadets are travelers in space and time. Was sent here because this specific moment of this time is important to the future.
How are we important in the future? I think they're still trying to get our spirit or something. I think it's all part of the same thing. They're just sending other beings to try and convince us to hand over something. Didn't they already scan us? We did, but we did not have a good enough reading. When Jody ran off after making up a story about having married William Hollybrook, I think that was his name, she disappeared into space, and I haven't seen her since. I could make the excuse that this was our reason for needing you to locate her, but that'd be silly. That'd be silly, because that's not the reason. We were hoping that, as teenagers, that you had the know-how to bring back our teenager. You think we're psychic or something? We're not. I'm only 1/3 Betazoid. I suppose it makes sense that the planet was originally ruled by youths for hundreds of years. Then they probably think they're smarter than the adults. Shades of Peter Pan, perhaps? It was an Earth story about a boy who never aged, been adapted a few hundred times, sometimes with mixed results, like one where he aged to adulthood. Well, as we recall, that was the theme of the Hidden Valley original series anyway. The fact that the cute forest creatures and warriors and stuff were all like children, so they would sell toys to children. Lots of toys. It was a TV show. It wasn't real. They think it was real. They literally think that the canceled television show made their youths disappear. How could they possibly think that? Look, that's not what happened. We're going to find out what did.
The entire planet based their bizarre beliefs on the assumption of a television series for children. That is insane. I recall the TV show from on Ventura D, and that it was silly. There is no way anyone could assume the show was real. Probably wasn't violent enough for you. You are a Klingon after all. I am 2/3 Klingon and 1/3 human. That certainly doesn't show. Huh, thanks. Like the other Sillian planets like Flodai and Far Out and Sillian Earth, their thoughts do kind of make things happen. It's something we can't explain.
Huh, how I happened to meet Nick, too? Just happened? Huh. I suppose you're going to tell me somehow it's all a dream, too, and we're all inside it. Each time we come up with something, we're making a new destiny. The original amusement park planets were designed for entertainment purposes. They could essentially read the thoughts of weary travelers and generate them into a sort of imagine tag. Well, you really don't know what's doing it here. Well, I know that in at least one timeline, for some reason, I was paired with Dr. Bashir from Deep Space 4, but of course that's silly, because in this universe I would never have dated him. Yeah, it's funny that Kira and Bashir won't admit that Kiriyoshi is clearly theirs. Obviously theirs. O'Brien and Astor are on assignment on the Tell. I believe we can synthesize an antidote. However, unless we find the other children, we're not going to know what happened.
Well, I don't think the flyer took him. Nichols left with the flyer. But that was before they left. I was late to the party as well. Well, I am late. It's on purpose, for dramatic effect.
I suspect your Starship flyer you've been hiding didn't really leave the planet. I suspect it came down somewhere else on the planet, after the virus infected the adults, and made them silly. They're probably wandering around somewhere completely oblivious.
What makes you say that? I mean, wouldn't we be able to detect that?
Are you kidding me? Half the technology on this planet isn't even working. Did you even bother to check?
It wasn't my job to check. It wasn't my job either. We didn't really have jobs here on the planet. But if this nickels and dimes fellow took the flyer ship, he couldn't take it anywhere. And there's only one place he'd land at. San Jose State. But that's only a few miles from here. We could get there in no time. Why couldn't we have detected that from orbit? It doesn't make sense. I would have been able to use my Wesley powers to easily spot the ship. Not if the ship was cloaked, masked, or hidden in the valley. We all should have a look. It's time to get to the bottom of this. Dun, dun.
Yes, this is silly. It appears your missing starship is right over there. You mean I was right? Wow, I was guessing. Hey, I guess my Sillian powers of perception have improved. Now don't get full of yourself.
I will not.
Well, I'll be darned. Why, it's even next to the Red Angel building. Well, I think they thought of the building long before Starship Discovery had it. You know, by 20 years. But this might be the original Red Angel building, just so you know.
We're not far from the infamous Tacozilla place, which the Tacozilla is better than the ones near Evergreen. We're not being sponsored. It's not a sponsorship. We did not come here to eat.
A copy of San Jose State from Earth, but with no children in the area. I detect no youths at all.
We shouldn't go over there. Why not? What are you not telling us?
He just doesn't want to face them again.
Then they would know. You're the one that brought the landing party down here.
We still haven't quite come up with an antidote. And haven't figured out how to turn the nanoprobes off. That isn't how it works. If the ship is in there, then where's the crew? Maybe they're all dead. Now, I'm not detecting any rotting corpses around here. Oh, it's rotten over here. Just not the kind of rotten you're thinking of. Why did we think this was going to work? This crew is much too silly and not connected enough to know what we need to know. It'd be different if it was Picard or Lucky Cleric. Well, it's not. We're here now. Know that the flyer was brought here. Question is, how did we not know that it was here? Perhaps he can explain.
And the time-displaced story of 1986, James, Kirk, and Scott came looking for transparent aluminum to take a pair of whales into the future. In return, they gave my relative the transparent aluminum formula. Of course, my relative was abducted immediately by the Gary 7 people from the preservers. All I want to find is Colleen. That's it. That's all I ask for. Nichols, I thought you had control of the Flyer spaceship and were taking it to a land of opportunity where you would signal us to come and get us later, and we'd be off this planet. It turns out you landed only miles away from Evergreen, on the planet. That's true. All true. You see, I couldn't really leave. Oh, I tried. We got into the stratosphere, but then the barrier blocked us, and the crew became increasingly silly until they could no longer fly the ship. It came plummeting down to the planet, but I was able to fire the retro rockets, and we crashed here. Then we activated the cloaking device around the building.
That's ridiculous. You were supposed to go on the mission and get help. You never left the planet. All of those stories about how you had contact with the Grandmaster of the Keptera were not true. You didn't really have any contact with him, did you? You didn't leave the planet.
It was easy enough to fabricate the story and have you believe it.
Why? Why did you do it? For attention? A desperate cry for help? It is the same as your counseling skills are a match for mine, at least when I was younger. Now, yes, he's telling the truth for once. He did crash here.
I'm the final act character they bring in at the last minute because they've run out of ideas. Yeah. Huh. Finally, someone that's not one of my exes. If you hand over the coordinates of Colleen, I will allow you to go free. I will give you the antidote for the Sillian virus.
Problem is they don't have it. They've been beating around the bush for a long time, and they don't have it. Nichols, Colleen Shaw is long gone. You will not find her here. The space fire got her.
No, it's not true. It can't be. All those years waiting for her to show up.
It's true. She's in the Starfleet database. The person you were looking for is deceased. The Sillian universe did not revive her.
Are you sure about that? After all this, just a matter of misunderstanding? That's crazy.
We tried to tell you, Nichols. You wouldn't listen. Yes, you can never have her. Your unrequited desire is ridiculous. Besides, you're married.
You can't convince me that all these years I've wasted my life pining for her, that she's just gone.
Interesting. Zero. Begin scanning him.
I am scanning, and as a Medusan, I can tell what I'm looking at simply by staring. I'm an energy being.
What have you found out? I suspect Nichols also has a space virus, and cannot leave the planet, even if he wanted to find this Colleen person.
I destroyed the flyer. I ran it into the ground. I ended up working at state here in this timeline, with my wife constantly behind my back, making sure, hanging out, making sure that I could not have an affair. I never did figure that out. You never wanted us to return to the Federation. You're keeping us here. What if we had succeeded in getting the Star Trek people to help us? What then? The space plague would have been spread to the rest of the fleet. They would have become silly and unable to function. The fleet would have been destroyed. I almost led them into a trap of my own design, without even knowing it. I need proof that she's gone. I thought that in Sillian space people can be regenerated. Why was she not regenerated?
You're not a whole Sillian. You're a copy of a whole Sillian. You're all copies of copies. I don't know if there's any place for you to be regenerated. You should be content that you have a planet where you have unlimited resources. Esri to Kamara, do you have something? It's right where you thought it would be. I can confirm Colleen Willis is gone. I suspect that the young people were sent off from the planet in some sort of temporal directive, because the planet originally was run by youths. As for the time-trapped crew, it seems like they can't be returned to the Federation. A version of them already exists there. It'd be a paradox. Go ahead, Tabby. Tabby here, Captain. I've isolated a means of turning off the board nanoprobes that were exacerbating the virus. I believe it will effectively cure the entire landing party.
We could attempt to do this from here. We'd need to find a medical facility.
What'll happen to us? I can't stay here if there's another me out there. I want to meet him. Maybe he's found Colleen or his Colleen. That'd be amazing. Yeah. That person you knew is gone. Get over her. The masquerade is over. We're getting out of here.
I will not stop you.
I suppose you've come here to gloat. Yeah, how are we supposed to know we get tossed in the brig? I could just wish us out of here, but I won't.
I thought you two should know the Federation security people will be arriving soon. And the cell is warp sailor proof.
And I suppose that now that Nichols is dethroned, I will be the de facto leader of the planet Miriam in your absence, ma'am.
Silly peon, don't be absurd.
The infection of the planet has been cured. We're not going to end up lethargic and silly, not for a while anyway.
Yes, it is weird having a clear head.
What do you want with us, Miriam Follette?
I will be in touch, and when I need you, you will know.
I don't like that cackle.
Come, Michael, we shall discuss our options.
Over dinner at DiMaggio's?
You and I are never going to date, understand?
Guess you guys know what you're getting. I did show my junk to a third of the school.
Yeah, that you did. And the fact that you don't know that was humiliating makes you more pathetic.
Thank you. It wasn't a compliment.
Captain, Counselor, you haven't left our world yet. There is something we should straighten out. About this Colleen person. We didn't mean to insult this Nichols person that much. It's all right, Captain Locarno. I'm sure my husband will get over it. He's been calling it many times. Your husband. Nichols and Dimes is your husband. Yes, I am Donna. Pleased to meet your acquaintance. Well, you really do look like Miriam. We're a planet of clone androids, Captain. Shh. Miss McKinley, you have news. For sure. Yeah, before I give you it, I'd like to ask you a favor. What's that? I would like to join your medical staff on your crew. I'm sure we could arrange something. Oh, cool. So what is the favor, then? A version of that Colleen he was looking for is alive. She's been amalgamated into other characters. We should keep that a secret, Captain. It will be classified. Yes, classified. This planet is insane. I would also like to join your crew. It's the only way to get away from certain people. Let me guess. You're Colleen. I'm one of the amalgams, yes. What should we call your alias? Call me Vera. He'll never guess. Okay, Vera. And Captain, I'm related to Cal Hazel, so it's nepotism. A walk-on cameo never hurt anybody. For instance, I'll call myself Gender. Locarno to Chimera, 4 to beam up. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Captain's log, supplemental. The crew have been returned to the ship and are being tended to. Nobody else came down with the Miriam variant of Seldanian Nintendosis. Starfleet is sent for a research medical ship, which has arrived to cure the remaining clones and other Sillians on the planet. They will have to remain on the planet until a hearing to determine what to do with them. And if they can't decide, there's no reason to relocate them. Once they are cured, they may go where they like. Only 2 of them have been remanded into custody for kidnapping Starfleet people.
What did I miss?
It wasn't our doing. At least, not this time.
The experience was annoying.
I got to meet a tame, hybrid bluegill tribble named Peppermint. Since he added to the whole thing, he's being questioned.
That's amazing. Sorry I missed it.
I think we'll be seeing him again soon.
So what are we going to do about getting Tam and Kestra to the Academy?
Well, the only way to keep them out of trouble is to take them there ourselves.
That'd take you off course for your next assignment.
What? Are they meeting with some top officials to discuss relocating the Evergreen clones to some other planet?
No, they will probably be fine on the planet. Unless you think their Grandmaster Orion de Keptera wants other colonists. The engines are ready to go, and we're ready to break orbit anytime.
Excellent. Let us see. Where should we go next? Mother, Perhaps it would be a great teaching moment if we could go to some of these planets on the way back to Earth. Let's see, this far out, for instance. Keptera, even. Key Draconis. Flodi. That would be very confusing to you. You've never been to those planets.
She could learn a lot, but I think it's a great idea. But she's a Miriam model. The alien said so.
We raised you as our own, from infancy, not like those other Soong-type androids. You and Thad were biologically humanoid, but could age as humans and live among them. We love you just the same. That also goes for Tamara. You were only a toddler when the first Chimera visited the Q continuum. You are special. Now let's get going before it gets mushy.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.